So we're substituting one dictator for another.
As they just
Oh,
said,
great.
Lessons, it's not about how you get the power, it's about what you do with the power. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are back with another episode of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. You know, I think I appreciate now, looking at the element that I have shit lighting when it comes to my cameras and stuff, that you usually represent the commonly good side of things, and me, who's steeped in darkness, is usually on the side of the villains, and typically, I guess, not evil, I would say. I don't typically say, oh yeah, I'm down with what that guy's doing, the bad guy, but typically have the devil's advocate defense ready to go. Obviously, I'm in defense of pragmatism, I guess. Well, because pragmatism isn't always the same as what's morally right or what's ethically right, but is its own version of right. One could argue possibly in the same category of might makes right.
Yes.
Although not typical. I would say that if we're on a Venn diagram, that's its own third circle. Yeah. Might makes right is in the same category of what a bad guy would do, an evil bad guy, not always. Sometimes there are might makes right good guys. I would say all might is a might makes right good guy.
Well, I mean, there's strength as responsibility and strength as a tool.
I'm talking about overwhelming strength, not strength as in of character or things like that.
No. I'm talking about, if you have overwhelming strength and you're like, well, I have this strength, therefore I can do whatever I want, versus I have the strength, I should use it to help people.
Well, again, that's also a different character. It's like Goku or Simone from Gurren Lagann. Those are characters that are, I'm strong enough to do what I want. I just don't care about doing anything other than what I find to be fun, which also, I was about to say, doesn't hurt anyone, but obviously Goku hurts people because that's what he finds to be fun. I would say, typically, unless they're the bad guy, they don't tend to be non-consenting about it. You typically enter into a fight with Goku. But, Simone, at the end of the day, wanders the earth in service to others. Versus your, I need to change the world to make it a better place, overwhelmingly powerful. I just can't think of an example off the top of my head. I know they exist.
Nothing comes up to mind anyway. But it is good that we're starting with the idea of morality, because that's cues right into my notes.
Well, hold on a sec. Let's just introduce the fact that we have no board this episode because nothing has changed since the last episode. Ansbach was already an enemy of everyone that he then pointed a rocket at. Kirchei's having an argument with Reinhard does not fundamentally change their relationship, as he has into the discussion with Oberstein later. No matter if the entire universe turned against me, Kirchei would still be my friend. Kirchei does not express anything that changed that idea either. So, and then of course, the rest of the episode, most of the episode is flashback. So, no character relationships have changed. No organizational structures have changed.
Well, Lichenlade
was only rumored to be, there's no definitive evidence. That's literally just a line thrown out there. I think I've got a note about it, but specifically, there's just like nothing to that. We need to see it. Like, the character needs to be on screen, or an effect to that effect has to happen for me to represent that. Because otherwise, there's a bunch of people we just make enemies of Reinhardt because of rumor or suggestion. Anyway, on to notes.
Yes.
Oh, but we do have comments, though. We also do have comments.
Yeah. Episode 25, The Day Before Destiny. Kirchei's makes the moral argument, and while I agree with him, Ashes don't care about morals. Now, do they?
Yeah, I've said that before. Ironically, you've argued against me on this statement. Sorry, I always cover up your other window, and I was staring at the wrong window, the Discord window.
I mean, like I said, I am very much of Kirchei's point of view, but I'm also trying to be equitable and say, well, yeah, but what was done, and it had the effect intended.
Well, no, typically, I mean, it's the element that this tends to come up in the arguments where I say something to the effect of, it doesn't matter. And you'd be like, why doesn't it matter? Don't mean it doesn't fucking matter. Because typically, I always have an argument of, well, if you have the power to do something and no one can stop you, it doesn't matter what's morally or ethically, all that shit. If nobody can stop you from doing anything, then you're going to do it. So your point of contention about a thing doesn't matter if there's nothing in the world that can prevent it from happening.
Yeah, but I also believe actions have consequences.
Yeah, but I think this is what it usually comes down to. Your belief doesn't matter. Because again, from the perspective of you as a person in the world, right? If you were in the world and you believe that this is wrong, action has consequences, we can't stand for this, you have no ability to do anything, and you are also going to be killed by the thing that's happening. Then ultimately, one, you're not going to carry anything forwards. You've died. There's nothing about you that's going to last. Presumably, everyone that knows you is gone too because of what happened. So, your beliefs, your morals, your ethics, your anger, all of it's gone. Nothing about you matters. It's the ultimate you are nothing to the universe moment that even though, well, I mean, typically that argument is the most powerful man in the universe is also nothing to the universe. But in this case, there is still someone more powerful than you in the universe, and the pecking order between, a quark and an atom, you're still a quark, depending on how you want to see that hierarchy. Is a quark more important than an atom? Or is an atom more important than a quark? I would say I'm going with the element that an atom is more complicated than a quark is.
Yeah.
Despite how you may feel about Oberstein's actions, they did cause the war to come to an end in the same month which the event happened. The war had been going on for 6 months at that point, and it was indicated that Geiersberg was ready to hold out for a protracted siege, of which the Empire may not be able to push through. With all their forces focused on containment, there wasn't much left to handle the ground situation across the worlds where the rebel nobility still held control. So we'd be looking at ground combat across numerous worlds of the Empire, all while maintaining containment. And God forbid Braunschweig decides he's losing and goes even further off the deep end and orders more heavily populated worlds nuked. I said all my thoughts about the actual nuking in the last comment response, but there was no chance in hell all of this would ever been wrapped up by year's end without Oberstein.
I'll answer your note with a note, I guess, because it's my follow-up note, which was also an answer to my first note. On the other hand, a statue with feet of clay always falls. The reason why the nobles lost was precisely due to their brutality fueled by their arrogance and fear of losing power. In other words, the end justified their means.
I don't know how you got from the beginning to the end. Feels like it's I don't know, I mean, I know what you meant by the beginning, because I was already thinking up a counter to what you were saying, in which case I realized, halfway through, I don't disagree with the statement, I don't need to counter it. And then you got to the ends justify the means. What does that have to do with the nobility's improper position?
Not improper position. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is that because they were motivated by loss of power, they used that to justify their actions.
So they were motivated by holding on to their power, not by losing their power.
Oh, and not losing it, I was just saying.
Yeah, no, they formed the Lippstadt coalition. They formed the Lippstadt coalition to maintain their power, even to try and gain more power, not because of lost power.
But it was, like I said in the statue made of clay analogy, the foundation of their power was weak to begin with. And if you act in a similar manner, as Kirchhoff would say in the episode, then what you're building is equally weak ultimately.
I would argue that I disagree with that sentiment. Their feet weren't made of clay. Their power base was powerful in that they still extended their reach to worlds that they no longer could even touch. That's got to be the visual of what power is. I'm so strong that even though I'm isolated in this fucking fortress that's being contained in the middle of nowhere, my authority is still felt worlds beyond here. It's the element of my terminology of using rebels all the time is now getting very confusing because you have the Free Planets Alliance are the rebels. You have this coalition, which are rebels, but now you also have the commoners on the planet that are rebelling against the rebels. so my use of rebels is getting very hazy the further I go. They wouldn't have to rise up against the noble authority that's still on those planets if not for the fact that they still had authority. Their feet are solidly planted in the ground. It's not made of clay. Their feet are, I would say, if you want to make the analogy, they are mafia cement bricked. The problem is that the ground is flooding. They're so firmly planted. That's the problem. The nobility cannot change. They got themselves some lead feet. So when the tide comes, Reinhard being the tide in this analogy, they're going to drown, which they do to the point of killing themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just don't follow through on the element that it's lost power that they're seeking to maintain, and that's the source of their problem.
I think it made more sense in my head when I wrote that note. I had to rewrite it at some point.
Well, I am your enemy, and as we all know, plans. Blah, 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 blah. Oberstein says personal feelings are forbidden to a ruler, and I could have sworn I've heard that in another anime before, or maybe it was just another show I've watched in general. But I get it. The idea that holding anyone in esteem shows a lack of impartiality that can influence you from equality and justice.
On the other hand, the fact that you don't have any feelings might lead you to a dark place.
No, I mean, it means you're not going to make a decision based on emotion. The idea that you would give benefit to some group of people because you prefer them, because of some emotion you feel about them, versus what is best for everyone. The idea that Oberstein's going with is you want a ruler that makes the best decisions for everyone, regardless of emotion. Oh shit, that group is the same group that my wife comes from. I feel something about that due to a personal connection. I'm going to benefit them where I might not have benefited a group that I didn't care about. You know?
Yeah, but on the other hand,
impartiality. You're leaning on the emotionless part. Personal feelings are forbidden to a ruler. You cannot have. I mean, I can't remember what the fuck I saw before. There was either an anime or a show where literally the ruler had to be separate from everybody because they could not have connections with anybody. And that was the idea behind this that I'd seen in another thing, which is why I'm coming from, I understand what they were doing there, and I'm now trying to apply it back to here. I'm sure Oberstein's not making this up on his own, that this comes from a thought process somewhere in actual history.
Yeah, but again, that distance can also be, if you become disconnected from the reality, then it's very easy for you to just make decisions in a vacuum, thinking that you're making.
I would say that would be a benefit. You would be the Ender Wiggin of rulers.
No, I don't think that. That seems on the surface to be good, but eventually that never works. Because
you're saying that like we've done it before.
We can logic yourself into any situation, right? And that's kind of the problem, Or you can argue yourself under the rubric of logic.
It's not the first time I've said this, but I'm going to say this again. Yeah. Probably, I think, for the third or fourth time. You hate the Vulcans. What the fuck, man? Every time we come down to cold, hard logic without emotion, you're always against it. 100% every time. And it's always like, fucking hate the Vulcans. There's no going against it, man. I'm saying that impartiality is probably for the benefit of a ruler. And the element is that, as with all arguments, we always go to the extremes. Oberstein's not like you need to limit your feelings for anything. You need to have no feelings. Because, again, when you go to an argument, I guess you go to an argument with the haggling mentality. I need to start at the far end, and so try to pull them back down. That element, if I'm trying to sell you something, I'm going to try and sell you at the highest price I possibly can. But I have to estimate that you're going to try and talk me down, so I have to start even higher than that, and then try and meet you at the price I want to meet. That the idea that Oberstein is going to be like, no feelings at all. Okay, you can see your friends on the weekend. Something. Because, I mean, he's not like unreasonable. I'm not saying you have to get rid of Kirchheis. You just have to treat him as equally as you do everybody else. Nothing wrong with that. Mittermeier and Rutenthal are legitimately good admirals. They are. We don't like segue to what they're talking about every other scene for no reason. Plus, their comedic back and forth is pretty good too. Add some levity to a show that needs it a lot of times.
That was your point, so I get going to mine next. Now we get a long series of flashbacks representing Kirchheis and Reinhard's inner struggles. I think that's what it basically boils down to, why are we doing what we're doing, right?
I don't know that there were inner struggles. I think they were just I have no take on it. I was about to say something. I have no take on it. I don't think the episode needed it. I mean, obviously, if one of these guys is about to die because I got to a rocket to the face, like, I don't see how nobody dies, right? It's fucking rocket. Clearly, this is the, show you a clip of everything that's happened to a specific character because they're about to not be here anymore.
Yeah.
And, not for nothing, also the name of the goddamn episode. Kirchheis and Reinhardt's conversation feels a bit off to me. For one, Reinhardt just accepts that he commanded what happened rather than appear weak and claim that it happened under his watch without his say-so. Doing so either admits that one of the people he put his trust in betrayed him in some way, belaying an inability to judge character, or that the rebels managed to get one over on him despite how laughably incompetent their command turned out to be. It's a bad look either way, and he doesn't want to appear that way in front of Kircheiss. On the other hand, had Reinhardt not said that, Kircheiss's speech need not have happened, as Kircheiss admonishes Reinhardt for abandoning and sacrificing the people for the sake of victory, when the possibility still exists that the attack just happened ahead of schedule, and his possible mistake allowed things to happen. And in doing so could be seen to be another moment of growth for Reinhardt, a never again moment. Instead, we get an all-too-proud Reinhardt matching wits with an accusatory Kircheiss.
I mean, Reinhard is not perfect, certainly, and he does have this wouldn't fall on the vindictive streak that he has.
Well, I'm not claiming that Reinhardt needs to be perfect. I'm just saying that this is more in line with those slice-of-life drama scenes.
Yeah.
That this is an easily clarified moment, but from moment one, when Reinhardt is pouring the wine, or whatever the hell it is, and says, no, I ordered that. Like, oh, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
On one hand, he is taking responsibility. He's not shying away from it.
He's not though, because taking responsibility would be... Here's the problem. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I read that note yet or not. He's not taking responsibility because there's no responsibility for him to take other than to admit that he did not take full control of the situation, which was the first part of the note that I just read. The element that he doesn't want to appear weak in front of Kircheiss by admitting either that he had an inability to judge the character of a person that he put under his own command, or he allowed the rebels to get one up over on him and they actually did attack early. Either way, the one is a failure of his ability to command the fleet, which has been his pride the entire time, or the other is an inability to judge character, which puts into question everybody he's ever put under his command to begin with. Either way, it's not a good look for him, and rather than addressing that in a real moment, he recoiled into himself with his own pride and just said, everything that's happened has happened to my own design, Emperor Palpatine style. Which is to say, I would rather be blamed for the bad shit that I do and say it was on purpose than admit that I made a mistake and there's something that I could be better at. Which is, again, why it feels off to me. Not that that is a bad thing to have from a character point. That, again, if they hadn't done that, I feel like that would be a moment of growth for Reinhardt. That, again, this would be the never again moment for him. The realization that, oh shit, this happened. So many people died. I will never let this thing happen again under my watch. But they don't go that way. They go, I'm prideful. Hey, remember every time I've been prideful before? Again, it just feels off to me because we've come so far that I feel like he would have developed past that as a character. And this would have been the moment to have developed past that. But instead, let's have a fight before somebody dies.
Okay, my next note. It seems that the alliance between Reinhardt and Lichendale,
I don't know that I'm pronouncing right either. It's just that's the way it looks to me.
Yeah, was as fragile as that of the two opposing nobles in the Civil War.
Well, as per the note that you had about not having any changes to the board, I disagree with that from the element that that's still hearsay. I know it comes from my boy Oberstein, but I think Oberstein is just suggesting it.
It comes from what's her name?
No, it comes from Oberstein. Oberstein's in the room talking to him before Kircheiss shows up.
Remember, the warning originally comes from a recording that was sent by what's her name? Mittendorf?
You don't remember the sister's name?
Not the sisters, not
the
sister.
Is, oh, no, sorry. You're talking about Mariendorf. No, because he's in the room, he's listening to his sister's tapes, and then Oberstein comes into the room. That's why I'm remembering it being Oberstein, because then he plays the recording of Mariendorf, and Mariendorf says it, and then Oberstein says something about it. That's why in my head, I don't remember. I'm holograph blind. What do you want? I've told you I have this disability. I'm holograph blind. You keep bringing it up. Star Wars makes no sense to me.
Well, actually, what to put in
Vader's talking to himself all the time. It's just Mariendorf, though.
Comes in.
You know what? Actually, hold on. I've got a note. I'm just going to follow your note with my note, and we can then talk about it after that, since I want to say all my shit in response to you and then read a note about it. Lichtenlade doesn't seem like a stupid man. I can't imagine that even if he did still see Reinhardt as a threat, that he'd pull a second Lippstadt League, especially so soon. All Mariendorf said was that he was building enthusiasm with the nobles. The war just ended. It's not impossible that he's just solidifying the ranks in the Empire's new leadership. even just making the same deals Reinhardt made with Mariendorf for keeping the nobles' holdings, the nobles that signed it with Reinhardt after all. I mean, if so, Lichtenlade is the prime minister and seemed to be sharing custodial authority with Reinhardt. If he's just doing his end of the job and they start seeing enemies in the shadows because of it, well, I don't know what to say. Lichtenlade can't win this realistically, which is why I say he isn't a dumb guy. He would have to recognize that there was nothing to be gained by moving against Reinhardt at this point. How do you see
I mean,
the
not at
prince
this
rise up
point.
with all the military force he could possibly muster, fail, and Reinhardt being in like the best position politically and militarily he's ever been in before, and say, now's the time. When every time we've seen before, Lichtenlade sitting in a room being like, how do we do this subtly, perfectly, and with precision? And be like, now's the time. He's not a dumb guy. He's also
I
never
don't.
been in the same group as like Flag. Like he's talked to Flegel and everything like that. He's never been like in the group where they've been directly held responsible for anything.
Yeah. No. No. What I see here is that he is moving the chess pieces, right? And he's been detected. Not that he's ready to pounce, right? Like, oh, this. Marindov is like, listen, this is something you should know about for the future. You don't get caught off guard. And basically, what Reinhardt says, like, oh yeah, well, hey, Oberstein, go to Odin first, check it out, and let me know what's going on.
It
Right?
sounded more like he's
No,
talking about preparing for his arrival,
yeah,
as though they're going to
yeah.
do something the moment he arrives. Like I said, I
Well,
don't hear, because she just said he's building enthusiasm with the nobles. That means so many different things. Legitimately, he had just won the war. Enthusiasm with the nobles could be enthusiasm for your leadership. He could literally be plotting your ascension over Erwin. Like anything could be happening here. There's not enough information. She was vague as hell to assume that Lichtenlade is moving against you. He's not a dumb guy. Like I'm saying, if
but you would
Lichtenlade,
take
if
the
I'm wrong,
precaution
in essence,
anyway.
if I'm wrong and Lichtenlade is moving against him, I have nothing to say. I legitimately would say eat my hat, but one, I'm not going to do that, and two, don't own a hat. But the point is, actually, maybe I do. Not going to eat it though. The point being that it doesn't make any sense. If Lichtenlade is moving against it, I'm going to lose a little bit of faith in the show. That goes differently from the element of Reinhardt's conversation, because that was just a lost opportunity for character growth. That's not disappointment. Lichtenlade suddenly turning, now's the time, makes no goddamn sense, especially after the fall of the Livestock League. I called them Coalition before. I realized now in my notes I wrote down League because I couldn't remember what it was. Looked it up. It's Livestock League. LL. League of Legends. That League of Legends, the Livestock League.
To my next, so you probably disagree with. It seems that Ruenthal and Mittenmeyer distrust Oberstein as well.
I don't think so. They definitely got some sort of opinion of him. I don't know that they distrust him. They seem to agree with him. About the no need for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they seem to be in agreement with that. Actually, you know what? I'll follow your response. I'm skipping notes here, but I get like something. Mittenmeyer and Ruenthal have also heard Oberstein's "there doesn't need to be a number 2" speech, implying that he isn't just whispering in Reinhardt's ear conspiratorially, but is a public opinion that he has been made well known. In this case, he practices what he preaches in treating everyone equally to their rank.
I read it differently, as I said earlier.
Again, they're not like, have you heard the lowdown about what the fuck's going on with Oberstein? No. Everyone fucking knows what Oberstein's about. He's not Wormtongue. He is telling everyone the same thing. Hey guys, how do you feel about that second in command thing? Yeah, I'm against it. Like, legitimately, I mean, obviously that's not the conversation he's having. There's no water cooler, but the idea that he's treating everybody the same way he thinks everybody should be treated. That's balance, man. I think we're all be about equality. You against equality, man?
I mean, that would still put him as second in command because he's the one closest.
He's an advisor. He's not second in command. I think the difference therein is that he doesn't he commands people lower rank than him, but he's not of the authority. He's not like Kirchhays. Kirchhays could conceivably tell Oberstein what to do.
Yeah.
Because he outranks Oberstein. Oberstein, I think we had the same conversation at the end of the episode. Oberstein's always been an advisor. Legitimately on Iserlon, he was an advisor before the guy stopped listening to him, and he was like, fuck, I gotta get out of here. So, that's just his role. He is not second in command material. Well, I think he's second in command material. He doesn't think he is because he doesn't believe in second in commands.
It's kind of dumb, actually. You should have someone in
No,
second in
remember,
command
he believes in a hierarchy. So you wouldn't have a second in command. You would have like 10 guys who would all kind of be of the same rank. He is like, oh god, what do you call it? Thrawn was one of them. He would be like Admiral, Moff system. You'd have a bunch of Moffs. Instead of one guy who reports to you, you would have like 10 guys that report to you with different responsibilities.
Well, this is my second to last note. Having Kirchhoff leave his weapon at the door is not ominous at all.
All right, that's your last note?
Second to last note.
Okay, well, my last note is in response to that. I also have other notes because I got to go back up. So obviously the last frame feels like a setup for one thing. What? They didn't do an autopsy of their own body? Sorry. You know what I meant to say. They took his report that he was dead and left it. No scans to determine nothing was up. Obviously also the new standing orders against weaponry, which is my response. Even I would suspect Oberstein of that one, if not for the fact that Oberstein was standing right beside Reinhard in the moment. Would make a really stupid plot to be standing right next to the assassination target. I'd have to suspect someone else. If there even is someone else. And this isn't just a lapse in reason or explanation, like explaining what Lynch did to be so close to the NSMC. That all of this feels like setup, but in fact it's just another Lynch situation.
Well, I answered that with my last note.
Well, then we're in a chain of three now. Because this was a response to your note. So this is you, me, you.
Yeah. Well, shit.
I mean, this would be a funny time to find out that the shields exist. I mean, we know shields exist, but I mean, like on a personal level, like the throne is surrounded by a shield. Like, I don't know how everyone's not fucking dead. It's an RPG at point blank range. It's not even like a setup one. Like, he didn't need to he put the thing up. He didn't like extend the thing out, load it, and whatnot. He just short.
Yep.
All right. Well, as I said, I have one note that I had to skip for all this because to keep up with you. I also have to say, Kirchhoff suggesting that Reinhard sacrificed people for the sake of politics rubs me the wrong way. Did he gain some political clout from it? Sure, but that comes and goes from any number of actions and inactions. Conceivably, he would have gained political clout from stopping it too. The sacrifice, if we want to call it that, was a war measure. Suggesting that it's only for politics implies that it will be a practice that continues past the fighting. Is it impossible? No, of course not. But the actions or inactions taken during the fighting were for the sake of the fighting and ending it, and outside the purview of future measures. It's a discussion that we had last time about being slippery slope, and my argument against a slippery slope is that we encounter every situation as a new situation. Just because we did something one time before doesn't mean that we can always use the explanation that we used to do that thing before in the new situation, because every situation is its own situation.
True, but if people accept one explanation, they're more likely to accept similar explanations in the future.
Oh, there's two benefits to that. One, in your in your situation, you are saying that people have to accept what you say. That we haven't crushed them enough, right? That we just get away with anything. So that's already a bonus. But, yeah.
Is it?
Well, yeah, for one thing, it implies that they still free will. Like the thought police haven't taken over everybody. That's always a benefit. Are you saying that's not a benefit, that the thought police should take over everyone?
No.
Okay, then you do agree with me. Sorry, my voice is cracking already.
Yeah.
Well, assumedly, yeah, because we only just won the war. Technically, Lichtenlade has been controlled back home this entire time, and he's not making social reform. Why would he?
Yeah.
He's just keeping things par of the course, and he's not making insane decisions that get more people killed. Yeah. In fact, apparently, if you read Enthusiasm, he could be throwing a party for all we know. Get back home and a welcome back banner, and Lipstock's dead. Not Lipstock. And Lichtenlade is on the floor dead because Oberstein shot him in the head. Surprise party.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But yeah, no, the element that you're saying that if people take your argument for one thing, it's a slippery slope because you just say the same thing over and over again. I would say, no, every situation's different. You act like people would just think of the last argument and say, oh, you won that argument, I guess you win the next 100 arguments, as though people don't disagree all the time.
No, but if people are willing to accept one argument, they are more likely to accept what follows after.
You're saying that. I don't think that's always true, especially not on a fucking galactic scale. Again, I have to
Yeah,
believe that on a galactic scale, you're being inundated with information all goddamn time. It's not
are you though?
like, God, I would say it's like the news cycle, right? The news cycle 10 years ago, 20 years ago was a lot slower than it is today. Now you're getting hit with, what's it called? When you're getting hit with so much wrong information, by wrong, I don't mean incorrect. I mean objectionable. You're being hit by so much objectionable information all the time that by the time you have time to respond to the first thing, 5 other things have happened, that you can't keep your footing on the ground of what you object to and what your opinion even matters to anymore. That you have to pick one subject and stick to it to make sure that that subject sticks long enough for any sway to be made. Otherwise, the 4 other subjects that you can't ground down on kind of just go past. That in a galactic cycle, how much of that, right? By the way, on the continent of Extraria, gun violence has increased after the governor increased blah, 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 across 25 planets, 25 billion people. Like, it's going to be so random that you're saying that this explanation works for this. For who? For how many people? How many people have even a say in this? Especially now that nobility isn't a thing.
Well, I think nobility is still a thing, but not
Not
the
not in the
high
term of
noble.
being able to do anything. Remember,
Yeah.
Mariendorfs are the only ones who are going to be able to keep their land and whatnot. Everything else is going to be happening somewhere. Like, what? Does it go commercial? Does it go public? Like, do the people living on it, do we give, like, them property? Does it become serf ownership now? Like, I don't know what's
Land
going to
reform, yeah.
happen to the land, and that means landowners are always famously going to be the people who have any sort of power. So, who's going to be the land owning rulership now? What happens to the factories? The factories were owned by either nobles or higher ranked military officials. Are we going to become a military state? More so than we are anyway? Like, there's so much in question here to be able to say who has the authority to then question the argument being made.
Yeah.
So you can even throw that into the note. The element that you're saying that if they acquiesced to the first argument, that they're more likely to acquiesce to every other argument. Different group of people. The first group is
I
either
mean,
going to be
that's
the
how you
military
build
commanders or the
consensus,
former
though.
nobles, and now it's going to be a completely different group of land-owning elites. There's always going to be elites.
Yeah.
Someone's
Well, there shouldn't
always
be,
going to
but
rise to power, taking advantage of the situation placed before them. Might not be you, because you might not think about it at the time, but somebody out there is going to be planning for it, or just be in the right position for it. I knew hoarding all the food would get me an advantage. See, Martha, I told you standing in the background, remaining perfectly silent all the time would get me that promotion. All right, well, as I said, we have comments.
That we do.
First up, from Canaris4 from the Patreon, The Day Before Destiny. Specifically, the character I thought was Jessica was the one that shows up after Fahrenheit and before Kirchheis and Reinhardt in The Skies of Love. I guess that must be the text of the song. Apparently, I said at some point, and that's why we're only watching one episode today. That had me in stitches and left me with a new feeling. There's a relevant Futurama quote where Bender says, "Oh wait, you're serious? Let me laugh even harder." But today I was left no room to laugh harder. I've seen other reaction channels take suggestions over which particular episodes they should take in batches so they don't get weird cliffhangers and can finish arcs cleanly. So this is kind of reaction that I can only find here. What a shitty flashback-filled episode to be your one episode for the week. Also, since you mentioned this being drawn in different styles, sometime after 1999, the makers of the OVA redrew a lot of scenes for future prints on DVDs, since either they lost the footage or the drawings were too bad.
Yeah, that would explain that. From time to time, especially when they look at the faces, like that looks like a completely different style, and then they go back again, and so yeah. Right. That is Kirchheis, right? Yeah, that's Kirchheis. Yeah.
Well, again, I think the element of the one episode a week, the shitty flashback part, is, weighed against the cliffhanger that we got. All right. Also, we got a Humpier Rogue from the Patreon from the episode of Victory for Whose Sake. Legend of the Galactic Heroes slander. It's politics in space, but also regardless of your political beliefs, everyone has the honor code of samurai and kill themselves at the first inconvenience.
Yeah. Okay. Are you? Am I supposed to not know that? I don't.
They're saying slander.
Yes. Well, true,
All
I
right,
guess.
moving on beyond that before 1, Lesson's head explodes, or 2, he slinks even further into the shot.
Yes, yes.
Canaris4 from the Patreon, from the fall of Goldenbaum. The specific kind of civil war that describes the Imperial Civil War is a war of succession, where two sides fight to see who would be the next ruler. Braunschweig fought for his daughter, Reinhardt fought for Erwin Joseph. The episode preceding this episode, episode 22, is one of the episodes where I've seen a reactor complain about spoilers for this episode 23, though they only complained when they saw the title. It bothered me. I was like, you've seen how many episodes of Reinhardt beating up on noble morons that suddenly an episode called The Fall of Goldenbaum is somehow a major spoiler? At this point, it should be all but inevitability, especially when the narrator was like, at the end of the episode, just when you fought, the nobles were screwed. No, you did mean thought. So you wrote fought. I thought, no, you wrote fought. I'm going to read fought. Just when you thought the nobles were screwed, the real tragedy for them was about to start, indicating they were going to be more screwed.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, and the last note that we have, or last comment that we have, I'll help your rogue from the Patreon from also The Fall of Goldenbaum. Oberstein really overstepped his bounds by sort of forcing Reinhardt's hand here by fudging up the timetables, clearly intentionally. In my opinion, when your advisors start making decisions on their own and not just advising, it's effectively something to be wary of. It's definitely something to be wary of. Regardless of its effectiveness, I think the real politic of it all is just distasteful, and Reinhardt probably could have gotten a less effective but still helpful victory by saving Westerland from the attack. I just don't think you can treat people like chess pieces like that and have it be good. I will note, in the book, Reinhardt much more explicitly agrees with Oberstein and is not tricked into allowing the Westerland attack to occur. He fully goes on board with Oberstein's plan. Now, in my opinion, the book is the book and the show is the show, and is the most relevant for this watch-along. But still, it's an interesting thing to take note as a deviation.
Basically, you restated my point that I made during the episode and during this episode, so basically.
So basically, you disagreed with me. So you're in my bad graces, I'll be a rogue. Stay away from my daughter.
Okay.
I mean, you saying clearly intentional. There's no way to know that. You saying clearly, that's the word. Intentional, who the hell knows? And clearly, not so much. We have no idea because we don't see Braunschweig's side. We don't see who's actually firing the missiles anything. So, for all we know, the timetable just got bumped up. It's not Oberstein doing it. It's just them doing it. When Oberstein, I get my whole argument already about advisors making decisions on their own vis-a-vis Yes Minister, the show, which I know is a comedy, but still, it makes some fairly good points about bureaucratic government.
But also, most of the time, Sir, what's his name? Oh my God,
Humphreys. No, wait,
Sir
no.
Humphrey is
No, is it Humphreys?
wrong.
No, Humphreys is Are You Being Served, isn't it?
It's Sir Humphrey. Yeah.
No. Isn't Humphreys the gay guy from Are You Being Served? Another British show from
No, it's Sir Humphrey. It's Sir Humphrey. Remember, it's the Prime Minister. It's two shows.
Please don't go
Yes
down a whole
Minister.
list of names. I'll just take it for granted. I don't give a shit.
It's Yes Minister and then Yes Prime Minister. And it's always been Sir Humphrey, right?
Again, I just said, go on. I'm going to take another British thing. Get on with it.
He's often shown to be in the wrong, right?
He's not actually often shown to be on the wrong because sometimes
he gets away with
what's
it.
His name? The minister and then the prime minister is often shown to be a bumbling idiot too who doesn't understand how politics works. So if we're saying his name is Humphrey,
he does show
no, because he's always trying to make initiatives that then don't pan out, and he needs Humphrey to bail him out.
Because Humphreys actually sabotages them from the very beginning as well.
Not all the time. Again, I think you just have a perspective of this character that you don't like, apparently. He's my favorite character of the goddamn show. Oh, him or the secretary. The secretary is always enjoyable. Always going on about shit that they apparently didn't learn in school. Although Humphreys does that too. You know?
Yeah.
Why do you even learn Latin? Well, I don't know. It's useless. Apparently, I can't even talk to the Prime Minister of Britain Latin. No, I think he's oftentimes, well, obviously it's a comedy show. Everyone gets their fall, right? Like when they take his key away or when he's proven why do we even do these interrogations only to find that nobody was guilty. You wouldn't want anyone in the government to be guilty because otherwise it's going to cause a lot of problems. And it turns out the dude is a spy. It's like, okay. Yeah. Like, obviously he has his wrongdoings that he fucked stuff up all the time. Or it's the situation where the Prime Minister just gets one up over on him. Like, I'm actually good at manipulating people too. like with the whole what is the opera theater? The theater Globe.
It was the national. I think it was the National Opera, and
No,
Sir
no, no.
Humphreys wanted to
It's the
visit
very specific theater that Shakespeare once was at, and that's the one that
the
they're
Globe.
trying to fund. The Globe Theater. Okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure. I thought there was another word in there that I was forgetting. Yeah, well, they're trying to fund the Globe Theater, and he holds his whole, well, I'm going to say in my speech versus what I might say in my speech. Like, he's good at manipulating people sometimes. More often than not, Humphreys gets one over on him. And I would say half the time that Humphreys gets one over on him, Humphreys is right. The other half of the time, he's got to be a comedy foil too. He fucks up as well. But again, the element that you not knowing stuff benefits you in certain places. Huge plot point, Independence Day, all I'm saying.
Well, actually, it actually hurt him because he didn't know about Area 51, and therefore they were not.
All I
prepared
said was
for
an
the
element
invasion.
of Independence Day. I didn't say it was a good element. I'm just saying that also, not for nothing, every previous president, it helped. But also the part of regardless of its effectiveness, meaning that Hump Your Rogue realized it was also effective, because otherwise you wouldn't put that in front of your statement. But yeah, Reinhard agrees with Oberstein in the book.
Not a good look.
I mean, for you.
Yes. And Hump Your Rogue.
So 2 people.
2-1, we win.
Do you? Because me and Oberstein, and I guess part of Reinhardt also agree. That's 3 versus 2.
Oh, yeah. 3 fictional people versus 2 real people.
Okay,
yeah,
lessons.
I mean,
so why is the appeal? Okay, let me ask you this then. Why is a outside perspective more valuable than an inside perspective?
Because we're the ones who are outside looking in and analyzing the
Sure, but I would also argue that Oberstein and Reinhardt live in the world.
Who?
We don't live in the world. We don't have to exist 24/7 to know what that world is like. We get brief glimpses of specific characters across time. I would say that a lived-in perspective is more valuable than an outside perspective.
Yeah, but we're not even talking about the lived-in perspective. We're talking about our perspective, yours and...
No, we're talking about whose agreement or disagreement to the situation is valued more, by which I am saying that Oberstein and Reinhardt's lived-in perspective is a more valued or weighted argument than ours from the outside. Because you brought this argument when you said that they don't exist because they're not real people. Now, I'm saying they do exist as perspectives. And I would say that their perspectives are more valuable than you, me, and a Hump Your Rogues because they exist in the world. They're a lived-in perspective. I
think you're bifurcating. Yeah, something that should be only one perspective, which is the creators or the creator of the anime.
Oh, no. See, there you go. You don't even know if it's creator or creators. There could be a writing team responsible for this, in which case that's more perspectives than the 3 of us.
No, but they speak with one voice, basically, ultimately.
Is it a storyboarding team that has to weigh in on each element of everything that's going on?
They came up to the same conclusion and spoke with one voice when they created the anime.
Oh, so you're saying that everybody that agrees has one voice. So you, a Hump Your Rogue, 2 people are actually just one vote. Because you're of the same voice. You came to an agreement.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're implying. You're saying a room full of people that agree together on how a thing should happen are of one voice, so that's just one vote.
No, by virtue of how this is put together in a group effort, it comes to be one voice.
It doesn't, though. I've read plenty of times where shows like this, not like this one, obviously, because this is an outlier because of how epic it is, but from the element of plenty of shows where you read after stories where we disagreed about this, and this is why I eventually left the project, People can still make a thing, come to a conclusion, and still disagree about it. A room full of people that ended up making a shot doesn't mean everybody in the room agreed that that's how the shot should have gone, or that's what the character should have done, or that's what the writing should have been. So everyone coming to a consensus, or at least moving forward on the thing, does not mean that everybody in the room. Thus, that means that we have a bunch of varying opinions that might differ from one another, which means that each individual opinion should then be counted as its own, and not a room full of people agreeing on one. If the
possibility is that they disagree, then you cannot count them together to be on your side. They could agree with me, but we never saw it.
I think what I was getting at was that a variable number of a group of people may agree with me. At the end of the day, it had to have been at least quorum for this thing to move forwards.
Depending on the process in which they use, but yeah, sure.
It doesn't seem likely that. Oh, I don't know. Well, I don't know. This is 80s. Who the hell knows? The point being is that I think there's more people being represented on that side than on the side of 2.
Yeah, but you're going beyond the common sense in order to bring people into this in order for you to have a greater number of people.
I'm just saying that the characters of the show agree with me.
Or that you agree with the characters of the show, which is ultimately what is really happening here.
I guess it would have to be because this happens in the 80s. They're really weird if they were crib noting 5-year-old me.
Yeah.
They would literally be crib noting me.
So, yeah, this will be edited out, and we'll leave it
You
to
think it
further
will
comments.
be. You got no idea what I'm going to find entertaining a week from now. God forbid,
Yeah.
I don't know how long this is going to take me to get to.
I think we should move on to the episode, if you don't mind.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, I thought we were going to have a cold open like we had in the... Well, but people already know that. People already know this. But for a refresher, people who are watching this, we record usually multiple episodes in one day. But today, we recorded multiple episodes of different shows. And in another show...
Incorrect. We
No,
recorded
we had
one
multiple
episode of 2
episodes.
different shows. We didn't record multiple
Yeah.
episodes of other shows.
Well, that's not incorrect because we had multiple.
It is
episodes,
incorrect
more than
because that
one
would
episode.
imply that she said multiple shows, which implies more than one, which would then mean that we recorded at least 2 episodes of 2 other shows, multiple episodes of multiple shows. We recorded multiple episodes of 2 other shows.
Yes.
Nope, that's
more
incorrect too.
precise.
We
Yeah.
recorded 2 episodes of 2. No, there's a specific way to word this.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, this is the genie's wish, right? You got to make sure you get the wording right. We recorded 2 other episodes today, one of one show and one of another show.
Exactly.
Because again, the way you phrased it would make it seem like we recorded 4 episodes before this. At the very least, multiple episodes of multiple shows. Former or latter. 7 or several. May be cancerous if you live in California. It's a camera. Oh, my boy stood forward. In your face. Oh, did not see that coming. Why are y'all just fucking standing there? Jesus, he could have been alive if you guys fucking... Why does everybody not have, like,
I don't think he's
laser
going to survive
rings?
that one. Yeah.
Everyone saw him pull out a rocket launcher. Didn't move.
Yeah.
Some shoot Kurt Chase in the chest. Didn't move. Well, you guys aren't doctors. How do you fucking know it's too late? Oh, never mind. It is too late. I think a little more than a slap.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to swallow it. Famously, that shit, like, burns your face off. Not burns, but, you know, it's like acidic. Episodes, 80-ish episodes. These two have been together.
That's from the movie. Yeah.
Also, art. Yeah, just compare the art style. It feels like this should have been the flashback episode. He's still fuck. You got a doctor. Somebody.
No, that's not. I think that's his imagination.
I don't know. Put him in the kick Braunschweig out of the tube. Put him in the freezing tube. Oh, thank God, we still did call one. No, I think he was still alive. I think this is real.
No, I don't think it is.
Reinhard doesn't know. This is information Reinhard would know. In front of everybody. I mean, I understand the emotional depth of the scene, but it also seems to express to everybody that he's never lost anybody of value to him before. So nobody scanned Anbach either for the laser ring.
Yeah.
Didn't check the body, no laser ring. Someone's fucking going on the chopping block. See? So now Reinhardt becomes a puppet of everyone beneath him. Oberstein? Again, I want to point out the man who jumped in front of a bullet. He wouldn't. He might, but he wouldn't. Says the guy I've never seen before. Does nobody appreciate he jumped in front of a gun? I would make somebody else the fall guy. Oh, Lichtenlade. We're gonna blame Lichtenlade for this.
ブラウンシュバイク校のことではない。
どういうことだ。誰が犯人だというのだ。
帝国最小リヒテンラー
Obviously. He's not even a fucking threat yet, and we're already killing him.
敵を排除しようというのか。
そうだ。
K を敵に回したくはないものだ。勝てるはずがないからな。
When you play the Game of Thrones,
早かれ排除せねばならぬ。それはリヒテンラーデ側とて同じこと。すでにローエングラム校を排除する陰謀を巡らして。
because of Mariendorf, Mariendorf got Lichtenlade killed.
現在というわけではないか。
可能な限り迅速にオーディンに戻り、リヒテンラーデ校を逮捕して国事を奪う。
This is a weird perspective.
それによってローエングラム校の独裁権を確立できる。権力とはそれを獲得した手段ではなく、いかに行使したかによって正当化されるのだ。
陰謀も詐術もこの際やむを得ぬな。この機にローエングラム校の敵を一掃し、全権力を奪取する。オーベルシュタインの策こそ用いるべし。そうだ。
So we're substituting one dictator for another.
As they just
Oh,
said,
great.
Lessons, it's not about how you get the power, it's about what you do with the power.
高速鑑定をえりすぐり、直ちにオーディンに向かっていただこう。
その指揮は俺とロイエンタールで取らせてもらおう。
両提督が階級も上だ。当然でしょうな。
ではメックリンガー、ルッツ。
And it just so happens that I'm the guy that told Reinhardt to promote you two. Just so happens.
Yeah.
Told you, my guy. Who again, Lessons? Jumped in front of a gun. And it wasn't even an unarmed gun that he, like, set up ahead of time. It was an actual fucking RPG that fired.
Oh, finally they're saying there's a 21.
Yeah, but we didn't really know where Geiersberg was. Like, we saw a map, generally, showing us where it was, but
Yeah.
it didn't really help us in the scale. Like, we would need to actually figure out the speed of these things to then apply it to
Yeah.
the 20-day thing. And then assume that they
Meanwhile,
never took breaks.
Oberstein is the only one with
他の艦隊は一挙に抵当制圧する。地上の艦艇は無視して強行着陸する。続け。
Again, it's gonna be a real bitch when Lichtenlade was literally a surprise party. Again, Lichtenlade is not a dumb guy. Fortunately, this is not his fucking fault. Mariendorf has set him up.
何事か。帝都の上空を飛行するとは。無礼な、何の真似か。帝国最小リヒテンラーデ公、飛行を逮捕させていただく。罪状はローエングラム元帥閣下に対する暗殺未遂事件の主犯として。バカな、何の証拠があって。この帝国で罪過を問うのに証拠が必要とは知りませんでしたな。何？
J'accuse.
そうした体制に準じていただく本望でありましょう。抗禁しろ。
To be fair,
So
given how many poor and homeless people there must be in the Empire, getting accused of a crime is basically getting a room for the night.
might makes right.
これです。これが国事か。
So does that imply that he was associated with all that?
No, no, he was just. Remember, they were told to get the seal of state. Oberstein basically saying,
Don't.
this is the time to be. the
Don't.
new
I understood.
emperor."
Don't. I was just seeing it in the moment as a connection when it wasn't one. Again, I blame Mariendorf for this.
I blame Oberstein.
No, because without Mariendorf, Oberstein wouldn't have done this part. He needed the Mariendorf part for Reinhardt to have seen.
グリューネワルト伯爵夫人からでございます。
貴様、喋ったな。キルヒアイスのことを姉上に喋ったな。
申し上げました。
よくも余計なことを。
ですがまさか 一生隠しておくことも叶いますまい。
うるさい。
怖いのですか、姉君が。
なんだと。
でないのならお会いください。閣下、私はあなたをまだ見放してはおりません。
Literally the only person that's willing to do this.
責めるばかりで私に責任を押し付けようとなさらないのはご立派です。ですが、これ以上過去ばかりをご覧になって未来に立ち向かおうとなさらないならば、あなたもそれまでの人だ。宇宙は他人の手に落ち、キルヒアイス提督がバルハラで情けなく思うことでしょう。光には影が付き従う。だが光が陰れば影もまた。
Again, I'm just more and more on Oberstein's side.
姉上。
かわいそうなラインハルト。もう失うべきものを何も持たなくなってしまったのね。
姉上、私にはまだ姉上がいます。そうですね、姉上。
Boy, I sure hope nobody uses Anna Rose against him.
私たちはお互いの他に何も持たなくなってしまった。ラインハルト、私はあなたの館を出ます。どこかに小さな家をいただけるかしら。
姉上。
そして当分はお互いに会わないようにしましょ
Well,
う。
this is a crazy move.
私はあなたのそばにいない方がいいのです。
So we're saying she blames him.
あなたが違うのだから。私には過去があるだけ。でもあなたには未来があるわ。ラインハルト、疲れたら私のところへいらっしゃい。でもまだあなたは疲れてはいけません。
Why wouldn't he be?
姉上がそうおっしゃるならお望みの通りにいたします。キルヒアイスとの約束を果たし、宇宙を手に入れてからお迎えに上がります。ですがお別れの前に一つだけ教えてください。姉上はキルヒアイスを愛していらしたのですか？
Yeah, that was a yes.
宇宙を手に入れるのだ。失ったものの大きさを思えば、せめてそれくらい手に入れなくてどうするのか。事情はオーベルシュタインから聞いて承知している。は。ケイラの功績には
That chair could not be more tailor-made for him.
私もこれよりオーディンへ帰還する。途中まで誰か迎えによこしてもらおうか。
は、ではミッターマイヤーを。ところでリヒテンラーデ公の一族はことごとく捕らえてありますが、いかがいたしましょう。
仮にも帝国最小たる方を死刑にはできまい。自裁をお勧めせよ。
御意。で、一族は
女子供は辺境に流刑。10歳以上の男子はすべて死刑。
What the fuck?
10歳未満
It doesn't seem that
私が4年
very draconian.
10歳の
Do you
It
not
seems
remember?
pretty
Do you
draconian.
not remember the Gaiden episodes where the guy threw himself over the cliff to save his family?
Oh, so we kill half of the family instead of all the family.
It's legitimately
Oh, that's
what we
improvement.
already know. Lessons. You're shocked for no reason. Maybe you just didn't have
Yeah,
the,
no.
the emotionality of the episode to go with it. Dude threw himself over a cliff to save his family from literally getting hung because of shit like this.
閣下、間もなく出港できます。
Why kill the?
So
I
they
don't
don't come
know why
back.
they
From
killed the
it. Do you
kids.
not remember the Evil Overlords list? It's a joke, but literally it makes sense from shit like this. Do you not remember Reinhardt himself rose to this position because of shit like this? All right, the pheasant guy. I almost forgot who the fuck this was.
同盟へ行って政府のスパイをしろとさ。俺がガキの頃、ヤンと知り合いだったのを利用しようってんだ。
Did he? Do I not remember this guy
I
from before?
remember that his dad was
Yeah, but we never met him in the Gaiden episodes where we saw his dad. I mean, unless this
I think he's
guy
the
was
one
like
who
one of
tells
the
him.
background guys, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
そこでだ、ボルテック。
Just spreading everyone out.
はい。しかし補佐官職は
Should be that woman.
Yeah.
No, she said him.
Oh no, some dude.
There we go. The guy who left to what was the word? You remember those? He's the blonde guy with all the other guys who were like, "What do we do?" And what's his name? Starts with an F.
Yeah, I go to fasten you.
I don't know why my mind just started blanking out.
自分で大きな嵐を呼び込み、嵐の間は身を潜めて、自分は決して傷つかず、いつの間にかより強力な権力を手にしている。そう考えたらえも言われぬ恐怖にとらわれた。そしてこう思ったんだ。こんな男に権力を与える民主主義とは何なんだろうってね。我に返って。
One full of idiots.
銀河帝国を建てたルドルフや、この前の旧国軍事会議の連中は、そう思い続けた挙句に。これを救うのは自分しかいないと確信したに違いないんだ。全く逆説的だが、ルドルフを悪逆な専制政治に走らせたのは全人類に対する彼の使命感なんだ。
Yeah, I don't think so.
Again, they live in the world, man. They live in the world. They know he's the history guy. You're not.
お前私が紅茶さえ飲んでいれば幸せだと思っているだろ
You think he's a hot tea guy or a cold tea guy? That must be hot tea. You don't drink cold tea out of cups like that. I guess that implies that they live in a cold environment. Remember, they were saying auf Wiedersehen before.
Yeah.
It just means that they're doing German shit.
帝国宰相を兼任、事実上帝国に独裁権を確立した。同時に
Also, I don't know, like, even that face when he literally said dictatorship like 3 times now.
生前に遡って帝国軍参長官の地位を与えた。
キルヒアイス。姉上が
Well, if the date was ever in question.
だが彼がその墓碑に刻んだのはマインフロインと我が友。
My friend.
Yeah, one more thing. Even if she pushed you at arm's length, you got one more thing. Or a wife.
お前ならそれに応えてくれるのか。
宇宙歴797年、帝国歴488年、人々の営みに関わりなく、銀河は永遠の時を刻んでいる。
Yeah. In memoriam, the people we lost.
Farewell, distant days.
I guess that really does show that Reinhard is the main character.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, how much time did we spend on Jessica after she died? Like, it was like a scene, and then he never said anything about it again. I think literally the narrator said. But here, the entire fucking episode was about Kurt Chase. Granted, Kurt Chase was almost as many scenes. In fact, I think Kurt Chase was almost as many scenes as Reinhardt. Whereas Jessica just kind of went away at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Or even at some point, she showed up at some point and then went away at other points.
Mm-hmm. So we're one dictator for another dictator.
Yeah, I would have been a bit more emotional, but I felt like I was on the defensive most of the time. Preemptively. I was preemptively on the defensive because of what I imagined you were going to say. Even though I said 100 times more things than you did.
As before, so
it's not actually. It's not the same tactics as before from the perspective it's not his tactics from before. He's not had any tactics from before because he's never had the authority to do this stuff before.
He's adopting the tactics of the enemy.
Also, no,
without proof.
He's using the standard punishment for the Empire. He hasn't created a new punishment for the Empire.
Well, he's supposed to be the one changing things.
He's not in command. Technically, you just saw the scene. Erwin's still on the throne.
Yeah, because it's a
and
standing.
Pause.
Yeah, I already cut it off.
Yeah,
He's
well, I've got
supposed
to
to
keep
be.
the at least a background track of the music for the Patreon. Also, never know if the ending changes in a little increment, so...
Yeah. As expected, the Empire still sucks.
In your opinion.
Of course.
Again, my boy Oberstein, always on the ball.
Yeah. The evil Chancellor.
Yeah, the evil Chancellor that jumps in front of a gun. Again, whatever you think, the dude so believes in what he's doing, he jumped in front of an RPG to, protect. Get down, Mr. President! Fortunately, he only had cyber eyes, not cyber legs, so it was Kerchase that got there first for some reason. No idea how Kerchase crossed from the point. Oh, all the other guys were just fucking watching what was going on. Kerchase got in there, got shot twice, wrestled to the ground before anybody else did anything. I mean, presumably that also includes Reinhardt and Oberstein themselves. Although I have to assume Oberstein was keeping like an Overwatch situation going on. I can write off whatever the fuck Oberstein was doing in that moment, because Oberstein was jumped in front of Reinhardt. That implies he took motions. He's probably still standing in front of Reinhardt. No more of this. What the fuck was a room full of admirals just standing there doing?
I think the point is that they all should have jumped him the moment he started pulling something out of the body. It's like, what the fuck is that?
It was dumb from the get-go. I even said my note.
Yeah.
Nobody scanned or did an autopsy on the body. They just accepted that the bad guys did their own autopsy. Because I have to assume that when they took him to the medical bay or whatever, when they were on Geiersburg, that was just to put the RPG into him. They had to prove that he was dead. So, I mean, there's that. They didn't do their own scan. They didn't, check in for weapons. I don't imagine this is the first laser ring in existence. They checked everyone else. Kerchase got checked for a weapon. How did that ring get through? Again, how does that technology even exist? We've seen all the other guns in this world. It's like, it's like if a Gaul showed up with their own, shielding. What the fuck would that come from? No, to be fair, that was one of my guesses earlier. It was that Reinhardt was going to be surrounded by a shield or something.
Guess not.
No. Again, my boy jumped in front of an RPG launcher. You gotta hand it to him, even if you don't like him. Dude jumped in front of an RPG.
The thing is that this is episode 25 out of 118. So, yeah, we're not going to see Kerchase ever again.
Lessons, are you fucking insane? We're going to see him so many times.
In flashbacks.
That's still seeing him.
Yeah.
He's on my eyeballs. Literally the screen upside down and then gets reflected inside my eyeball. In
a CRT, yes.
No, I meant how the eyeball works. The thing comes in and technically everything in the world is upside down to how you see it. But still, we're going to see plenty of him. There's no way that, whatever route Reinhardt goes down, evil dictator or not, that we're not going to be like, what would Kerchase think about what I'm doing right now? What voice am I doing? What would Kerchase think about what I'm doing right now? That's how Reinhardt sounds to me. There's no way we're not going to see him again. Also, I thought that you were going to say that Oberstein must have told Anna Rose what to do. Because that felt so not like... Granted, she's been weird. To me, Anna Rose is always weird. She is dull-eyed about everything. Middle distant, dull-eyed. You don't know what I've been through when I'm not on screen. I am just dead inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Well, I'm not saying I don't understand where that comes from. I'm understanding that it's creepy as fuck. So, I wouldn't be a good therapist. Wow, what the fuck is wrong with you? Can't be that guy. Obviously, I'm not. I'm being hyperbolic. But the element is that it's hard to understand what she's going to say. I never know. And the element of I'm moving out of this hyper-secure place that you kept me in, even though you're now even more important and more people are probably going to be after you. I'm so easily going to be used against you. By the way, never contact me either, so you can't keep up with what I'm up to. Only when you're weary, and now at your weariest, you can't be weary. What the fuck are you talking about, Anna Rose? I need my sister right now. So it feels like that's something Oberstein would have said, because we know he contacted her first. Yeah. Let me tell you, this is what Reinhardt needs right now. I would know. I was as close to him as Kerchase was. Whatever the fuck you might have said.
And of course, he would serve another person that would serve as his conscience, but by removing her, Oberstein now has...
Yeah, we've gone from emotion and logic to logic.
No, I think he's going to manipulate him into doing even worse things.
He's not manipulating him into do worse things. He's manipulating him to get him into power. and eliminating any threats to that power. That's logical.
Yeah, I know. How you get power is as much important as the power you get, but
I
that's
disagree.
not the argument to make it. I agree.
Well, no,
definitely.
that's not what. Sorry, you changed the thing right at the very end. I was agreeing with you, thinking he was. I was disagreeing with you, thinking you were going to say what they said. You said how much power. It's
No, how you get power is as important as what as a power you get.
That's also you're still changing it. They're saying it doesn't matter how you get the power; it's what you do with the power. So you keep saying how much power you get. That's not what they're saying. If you turn into Jesus fucking Christ and make literally heaven on earth for everyone in the Empire, what you did to get that power might not matter as much as what you did with the power. Actually, I threw a might in there because I'm trying to be diplomatic. I don't fucking care about diplomatic anymore. I'm already defending a dictatorship. If you create heaven on earth for everyone that's left,
I mean, and I think
you're saying it's not possible, since you don't live in the world. You're saying it's not possible based on the real world. Who the fuck knows what we can do in this universe? We just saw a guy with a laser ring, my man.
Yeah, but that's technology, not.
Yeah, with technology, we can do wonders. The Federation only exists on technology. You get rid of the replicators, the holodeck, and the transporters, we're back to World War fucking 3 in old Trek. I have no idea what the fuck is going on with New Trek. I stopped watching New Trek. I'm assuming World War 3 is happening all the time in New Trek. Those people are fucking not characters.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a...
That's literally what we're talking about, Lessons. If you're going to hyperbolic me, then you've got to at least raise your voice a little bit with excitement so I know that you're not being honest.
Again, I think that because the argument I think is human behavior is not, that part is not different. It's not the technology that makes it. It's first came the change in human behavior, then came the technology.
No, it didn't. Legitimately,
yes,
the Vulcans gave them technology. Then that's what creates the world. That's what Enterprise was all about. It wasn't.
No, actually, the Vulcans were like
that was actually through the Mirror Darkly. That episode was all about the element of how the mirror universe changes from that moment. Because otherwise, they're just normal fucking people until they decide to change. So the element is it's the technology that made them different. The fact that the technology got rid of need for resources and sickness and capitalism and whatnot. That's what makes us able to change. We didn't change on our own. We changed because technology allowed us to change.
No, I think that's the wrong lesson from.
That's not even a lesson. I know your name is Lessons Learned, but that does not make you the teacher de facto. I'm not saying I'm a teacher either. I'm just pulling from what's been shown to me. That people with the need for advancement, for the need for resources, with the need for housing, the house, food, and what's the other one?
Shelter, food, and
there's a third one. Anyway, comfort. I don't know. Whatever the hell it is. The three things. Those needs will constantly drive us to compete with one another. And the technology that the Federation has is what allows it. I mean, in Voyager, that's the difference between Voyager and the Kazon.
Well, I also argue the people who have some of the people who have none of those needs are the most hyper competitive and destructive people out there. But that's too.
But they also again exist in the system. You're saying the people that have none of those needs. You mean the people that have been driven to those positions because of those needs?
No, I think
you could argue that the children of the rich, the extremely rich, don't tend to compete in that same space because they don't have to.
Yeah, but they're still horrible people who do horrible things.
Not say that makes them good people. I'm saying that doesn't make for that. They're not in the same capitalistic space that puts them at odds with everybody. They are parasites on a system that already exists. Now, when that power is given to everybody, that's why I keep using the Federation as an example, then that system no longer exists. You get those, what do you call it, the Botany Bay episode of TNG, where you keep explaining to that guy, and then he becomes the Minister of Finance for the Federation. That's a weird callback that becomes in a future episode, but the element that we just don't work that way anymore. Picard will be like, because we advanced as a species. Yeah, because we had no scarcity anymore. Because people can just do what they want as an element of either enjoyment of their lives or to advance themselves as a person. A thing you can't do if you're slaving away 40 to 80 hours a week trying to even make ends meet. It's a product of the systems that we live in. And that is a product of the technology in the Federation that humans could advance after that technology made things so good.
The thing is that you can have the technology, but without a change in the system, that technology simply will be locked to those people who have control and
You're not going to change the system without the technology. You know why?
It's not
Communism, socialism, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to attach a word to the thing that I don't understand to make sure that nobody can get any benefits of it. I would rather pay $24,000 for a month's supply of chemo meds than make sure that everybody gets all the medications that they need. Insurance companies that are incentivized to charge everybody more and overcharge hospitals to make sure that they raise the prices, to make sure that the people that don't pay raise the prices for everybody. That's the system I want to buy in, not the system that everybody gets all the medical care that they need, despite having privatized insurance.
We can have a.
You keep saying can. No, we won't. We never will. Not while America is the way it is. Sorry, I'm going into politics. I'm not going into politics. I mean the subject. I'm trying to veer away all of a sudden. The element is that my hyperbolic statement before was we attach words like this to prevent those things from happening because we have generations of people that are been exposed to these words as the enemy that will then oppose them just on the name alone.
It's a change of thought, not technology. Because you can argue
I'm saying that you can't change the thought without the technology. You have to make advancements in science and technology and everything like that to accommodate a change in the system. The system cannot change on its own because it can't. It just physically can't. You're like, if people suddenly came around tomorrow, they'd have to devise a system that got rid of scarcity without the ability to get rid of scarcity.
I do believe that you can get rid of scarcity, but
even in the best humanitarian countries, they're still homeless, there's still jails, there's still everything that is symptomatic of human society as it is right now. You would need the technology to overcome that for those systems to even progress beyond that. We're not in that. That's not the way things work. You need the technology.
Well, I think we're going to have to leave that for the comments because we're going to keep on hammering.
Oh, I can't wait for those.
Yeah, I have none more on this episode.
By the way, technology.
Yes. Episode was a doozy.
Doozer. Isn't that one of the characters from Fraggle?
Yeah. Or Mario Brothers, either way.
Doozer stick is a thing, isn't it?
Dozer.
Yeah, how's your brother Tank doing?
That's from Ghostbusters. You know what? Never mind. It's
technology.
Yeah. It is what it is. Anything else you want to say?
I mean, to be fair, there's so much topic to cover in this episode because everything's tangentially related to any other topic of conversation, to any other basis of argument you could make about how things relate to one another. Like, the technology argument can be seen to be off topic, but it's literally the basis of the argument of do people change or are people changed by other outside factors? Which is not itself a not worthy subject of discussion.
No. Nature versus nurture. But
no, not really. Nature versus nurture, are you inherently born one way or does the environment change you? Our argument is, are people changed by outside objects or are people changed by people? Eventually, it'd be nurture versus technology.
Yeah, nature versus technology.
No. It'd be nurture because nurture is people changing each other. Are you born that way or is the way you raised make you that way? Your mother or interactions with other people. So it'd be, do people change people or does technology, is my counter argument to that, versus that discussion, does the technology change you? I guess technically you could even boil that down to, is it nurture versus nurture? Because that would be whatever way you'd want to distinguish the nurture of people versus the nurture of technology.
Yeah. Influence. I don't think technology and nurture really meld together as a term. But
because we're talking about technology like Star Trek. That was my example, that the Star Trek world only exists because of its technology, as per my argument. So I would say, in that respect, replicators nurture people. Arguably, we've seen at least one character multiple times go through holodeck therapy. Nurture. Teleporters literally rip you apart at the molecular level. Hard argument, but I would also say travel time. Nurture.
I think we are done with this episode.
I was going to, but then I saw you staring off at something. I just want to make sure you weren't going to come back with it. Well, I just saw a research paper published in 2016.
No. I wouldn't do that to myself much.
Because your name's just Lessons Learned. Why would you try to educate people? All right, well, with all of that said, once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?